While progressing in life, at times we feel stuck due to the lack of knowledge of how to manage our time well. Deciding how to prioritize the different facets of daily self-management gets hectic, whether it's for school students, university students, or working people. The lack of motivation, a great amount of workload, and the expectations at the academic front, in college, or at one's workplace is draining for an individual. Under such circumstances, a helping hand can instruct and support us in setting the right direction for our goals. At MentorMitr, we engage with individuals wherever they are in their journey of career development and help them learn life skills to manage complex situations while enhancing their potential and performance to optimum. Our involvement helps individuals to set the right goals and create options by following an objective process, thereby enabling them to define and manage their priorities. We help them generate self-awareness and teach them how to prioritize their time effectively. We also enhance their emotional quotient with techniques like mind mapping and dealing with success and failure to reinforce their goals and processes, while also grooming them with soft skills that are necessary for the competitive selection process, thus making them confident and prepared for success. While progressing in life, at times we feel stuck due to the lack of knowledge of how to manage our time well. Deciding how to prioritize the different facets of daily self-management gets hectic, whether it's for school students, university students, or working people. The lack of motivation, a great amount of workload, and the expectations at the academic front, in college, or at one's workplace is draining for an individual. Under such circumstances, a helping hand can instruct and support us in setting the right direction for our goals. At MentorMitr, we engage with individuals wherever they are in their journey of career development and help them learn life skills to manage complex situations while enhancing their potential and performance to optimum. Our involvement helps individuals to set the right goals and create options by following an objective process, thereby enabling them to define and manage their priorities. We help them generate self-awareness and teach them how to prioritize their time effectively. We also enhance their emotional quotient with techniques like mind mapping and dealing with success and failure to reinforce their goals and processes, while also grooming them with soft skills that are necessary for the competitive selection process, thus making them confident and prepared for success. While progressing in life, at times we feel stuck due to the lack of knowledge of how to manage our time well. Deciding how to prioritize the different facets of daily self-management gets hectic, whether it's for school students, university students, or working people. The lack of motivation, a great amount of workload, and the expectations at the academic front, in college, or at one's workplace is draining for an individual. Under such circumstances, a helping hand can instruct and support us in setting the right direction for our goals. At MentorMitr, we engage with individuals wherever they are in their journey of career development and help them learn life skills to manage complex situations while enhancing their potential and performance to optimum. Our involvement helps individuals to set the right goals and create options by following an objective process, thereby enabling them to define and manage their priorities. We help them generate self-awareness and teach them how to prioritize their time effectively. We also enhance their emotional quotient with techniques like mind mapping and dealing with success and failure to reinforce their goals and processes, while also grooming them with soft skills that are necessary for the competitive selection process, thus making them confident and prepared for success. While progressing in life, at times we feel stuck due to the lack of knowledge of how to manage our time well. Deciding how to prioritize the different facets of daily self-management gets hectic, whether it's for school students, university students, or working people. The lack of motivation, a great amount of workload, and the expectations at the academic front, in college, or at one's workplace is draining for an individual. Under such circumstances, a helping hand can instruct and support us in setting the right direction for our goals. At MentorMitr, we engage with individuals wherever they are in their journey of career development and help them learn life skills to manage complex situations while enhancing their potential and performance to optimum. Our involvement helps individuals to set the right goals and create options by following an objective process, thereby enabling them to define and manage their priorities. We help them generate self-awareness and teach them how to prioritize their time effectively. We also enhance their emotional quotient with techniques like mind mapping and dealing with success and failure to reinforce their goals and processes, while also grooming them with soft skills that are necessary for the competitive selection process, thus making them confident and prepared for success. While progressing in life, at times we feel stuck due to the lack of knowledge of how to manage our time well. Deciding how to prioritize the different facets of daily self-management gets hectic, whether it's for school students, university students, or working people. The lack of motivation, a great amount of workload, and the expectations at the academic front, in college, or at one's workplace is draining for an individual. Under such circumstances, a helping hand can instruct and support us in setting the right direction for our goals. At MentorMitr, we engage with individuals wherever they are in their journey of career development and help them learn life skills to manage complex situations while enhancing their potential and performance to optimum. Our involvement helps individuals to set the right goals and create options by following an objective process, thereby enabling them to define and manage their priorities. We help them generate self-awareness and teach them how to prioritize their time effectively. We also enhance their emotional quotient with techniques like mind mapping and dealing with success and failure to reinforce their goals and processes, while also grooming them with soft skills that are necessary for the competitive selection process, thus making them confident and prepared for success. While progressing in life, at times we feel stuck due to the lack of knowledge of how to manage our time well. Deciding how to prioritize the different facets of daily self-management gets hectic, whether it's for school students, university students, or working people. The lack of motivation, a great amount of workload, and the expectations at the academic front, in college, or at one's workplace is draining for an individual. Under such circumstances, a helping hand can instruct and support us in setting the right direction for our goals. At MentorMitr, we engage with individuals wherever they are in their journey of career development and help them learn life skills to manage complex situations while enhancing their potential and performance to optimum. Our involvement helps individuals to set the right goals and create options by following an objective process, thereby enabling them to define and manage their priorities. We help them generate self-awareness and teach them how to prioritize their time effectively. We also enhance their emotional quotient with techniques like mind mapping and dealing with success and failure to reinforce their goals and processes, while also grooming them with soft skills that are necessary for the competitive selection process, thus making them confident and prepared for success.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar on understanding the importance of career counseling. This session will be centered on comprehending and inculcating the principles of effective career counseling with our speaker, Mr. Bhavani Pratap. However, before proceeding any further, I would like to acquaint you all with the steps to avail the e-certificate for the webinar. Attend the full webinar. Once you see thank you, there will be a link given to Google Attendance form in the chat box. Click to mark your attendance and get the feedback form emailed. Fill the questionnaire that you receive on your mail for the details. Follow our page on Instagram and Facebook. If the above stated steps are followed, an e-certificate will automatically be mailed to you. Now, I would like to introduce you to our speaker for the evening, Mr. BHAWANI Pratap. He is an MBA professional and a computer science engineer with 8 years of work experience in product management and domain consulting. With prior experience in the domain of career counseling, Mr. BHAWANI has also developed short-term and long-term strategies while working cross-functionally to take tech products from conception to launch in multiple markets. Mr. BHAWANI, I would now request you to begin the session.
Hello. Thank you, Shreya. Thank you so much for that introduction. Yes. First of all, I would like to thank MentorMitr platform and for inviting me for this webinar. I've been than on the giver side. Okay, there is a parallel voice going on. Ankur, can you work on that, please? Yeah. Okay. So, rather than okay, there was a brief introduction that was given by Shreya. Thank you so much for that. Rather than getting into the professional side of my story, I will try to talk from the perspective of a graduate student, an entrepreneur, and an employee, an employer, a postgraduate student, and try to give an overall holistic overview of how my journey has been and where I felt that counseling could have helped me better in case if I had the right resources for me. I was born and brought up in a small town of Himachal Pradesh, one of the states of India, and growing up over here, was very normal. You are basically cut off from the rest of the world where all the magic is happening, and all you need to do is is perhaps play a little, and that's done. Things start changing when you actually, and when people start asking you questions, what next, what do you want to be in your life, and that was the period when we I didn't have internet, I didn't have computer, there was no LinkedIn, there was no Facebook. All I did between the period of my 7th standard till my 12th standard, that create a Gmail ID perhaps for me, and when I was in 9th standard, I got my school also got its first computers during that point of time, and all I did was watched perhaps movies and listen to songs, and that point of time, it does not strike you what exactly can happen with that piece of instrument that is in there in front of you, and then what magic can happen with that. Fast forward, I had been a scholar in my school. I was one of the toppers. I have been one of the toppers in all the classes. And then and same thing repeated for my 12th standard as well. I've been a scholarship student in my 11th as well as in 12th, and I ended up being one of the state rank holders. But at the same time, the question still persisted in my mind, and the question was, what next, basically. I really wanted to I really wanted to get into the engineering cycle of career, and because that's all we could hear back then. Either be a doctor, or in case if you are if you have taken mathematics as your background, you can you need to go to the engineering side of career. So this particular word I had in my mind, which was IIT, and I got to know about IIT when I had already cleared my exams for my 11th standard, and at that point of time, perhaps I don't say that it was too late for me to appear for the IIT. I did give my best. After 12th, I appeared for my IIT exam, but I could not clear it. And that's when I actually felt like a lost student. That this was just one thing I had kept my eyes on. Maybe perhaps a little too late. After entering 11th and after getting into 12th, basically. But then people start coming forward to you, even though you have a tag of a state a topper, and then you couldn't clear one exam that you had your eyes on. So you feel lost. People come up with many opinions. Some people say that you drop a year, go to Kota, go to Chandigarh, uh, and study for 1 year over there. Just focus on the exam and then perhaps clear the exam in the next cycle with the rest of the students. And then a couple of people say that you can just go ahead with whatever college you are getting right now. All the colleges are same. The education is same for everything. And then if it is AICTE approved, if it is government approved, then you are through with it. You don't have to have the IIT tag. My mind was not settling with it. So so again, being really lost, I was almost at the verge of going ahead and attend classes in Chandigarh or in Kota. I don't really remember where exactly I was heading to, but at that same point, I got this letter delivered at my home, and this letter was from one of the topmost universities, engineering colleges from India, one of the top 10 engineering colleges of India, Anna University, and I had been called on basis of my performance in my 12th standard. Since I was a topper, I have been called to become an engineering student in that college under a scholarship program for 4 years. And that was something magical that happened with me. So I went ahead with that. All you needed to do during your engineering was become be top 25% students of the class, and your scholarship would continue. And I did that. And I got the opportunity to study in one of the best engineering colleges of India, and and also in one of the best engineering departments, which is computer science. The most in my life. Again, while happening inside me, I was a good coder. I could code a couple of programs, but then at the same time, people around me were coding games. People around me were coding software, something like Skype, something like YouTube. They were coding operating systems. And I felt that I can be a good software engineer, but then I will not be as amazing as they were. So I wanted to choose something different for me, and that different, I still did not have any clue. And again, I felt that only if I had known, only if I had met some kind of mentor in my life and who would guide me in case if this is not it, what next? So what happened during the placements? I got placed in one of one of the company's leading companies for IT services called Infosys, and then my mind was still not settled at that point of time. Many of my friends were moving for MS, and that was the most preferred career path that they had chosen for them. So I also had the opportunity to through that scholarship program get into CMU, Carnegie Mellon University, and then I had the opportunity to pursue my MS. But then of course, deep in my heart, I knew that even if I did go to CMU, I wouldn't be the best in that particular category. I got placed. My parents were happy, family was happy, but then at the same time, my mind was not settled. I was still trying to figure out whether this is it for me. Then another magical thing happened. I had given this off-campus, campus interview, and that company had come to our campus as well. But that point of time, I had missed that interview because I had come home. And when I gave that off-campus interview, interview, when the final list came to our placement office at the college, my name was there, and it was for a consulting company, one of the best job offers during our time. I was very elated that this is it, and I felt really happy about it. Ended up joining that company, a consulting company. That's where my domain. I became a consultant. I became closer to where the actual business was happening. I wanted to understand how sales happen, how you pitch a problem, how you pitch a solution to a company's problem statement. I was providing solution to CPOs, chief procurement officers, chief financial officers, CEOs of the company in very early stage of my career. I was a market analyst, I was a market research analyst, and all that. So things were quite fancy and things were happening really fast. But 2.5 years down my career, I felt like a lost employee all over again. So how things happen with me. Yeah, you get excited about something, but then you try to understand whether you can take it forward for the rest of your life, right? And after that, I switched jobs. Some normal person would do. I switched my job and got into American Express. Started working over there. I was one of the youngest consultants in American Express domain. It was a travel domain. I was consulting, Fortune 500 companies on their traveling expenditure and trying to manage their expenditure on travels. It used to be in millions in dollars. But the feeling of that lie did not end over there, and I felt that I'm doing this mundane task, just running a couple of reports at the end of the month, and then trying to tell my clients, okay, you can do this and you can do that. Came the opportunity when I actually felt that this is something I have been wanting to do. When she also mentioned that, I have worked in a career counseling kind of setup back in 2014 to 2016. I got this opportunity to work as a business head of a very small startup back then, working in the space of teacher education. That is something that I had never even heard of, and I didn't even know what exactly we were going to do. So the founder of the company, he wanted to transform something that every child, which even I had faced during my in school or in my vicinity, wherein you don't get that kind of counseling, you don't get you get education, but you have so many thoughts, but those thoughts don't get a direction. We wanted to train the teachers of India to help the students to get the direction as well. We wanted to train teachers on technical skills. We wanted to train teachers on class management skills, time management skills, career counseling skills, so that what parents or the family or the vicinity couldn't do, our child couldn't do or cannot do all by himself. A teacher can do that. A teacher can help the student in a mathematics problem, but how that problem of Pythagoras theorem is going to really be helpful in which kind of career teachers. At the same time, we were helping parents, raise up the bar, or so that they also know what all other career options are available, and where all other what all other career options they can guide their children to. Same time, we were doing some career counseling sessions for children as well, from starting maybe 5th standard till 12th standard. So not just engineering or trying to introduce them to every other kind of possible career options, so that they understand what happens in this career option, and in case if they want to get in touch with someone in that particular field, we were providing that particular kind of platform as well. We did some amazing work for the next 2.5 years. We touched around 60,000 in India, 1,200 schools, and we touched around somewhere around 100,000 students and somewhere around 20,000 parents. And it was an amazing journey. But platform back then, or we didn't have something virtual happening, so everything used to happen offline. Our trainer used to go to the school and impart the knowledge on ground. things happened so that I thought that this would be it, and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. This is where I will make where I will make my earning, and this is where I will live my passion, and this is something I would go that would go on for the rest of my life. But for any kind of company, for it to grow, you need some kind of monetary assistance. So we were making money, but at the same time we were short of it. We couldn't raise funds. Schools were not eager enough to impart this kind of knowledge to teachers, and teachers were not ready to spend money from their pockets to uplift them, to train themselves on this particular, because they felt understand how that particular subject can so things so that's when I felt like a lost entrepreneur, and things went south. We had to let go, as we had a team of 30 members back then, and we had to let go of our office. The founder stayed with the idea. He said that perhaps Bhavani, maybe I cannot afford you right now, and perhaps you my help in building a cloud telephony company under the same parent company. In the next 2 or 3 years that I worked with that company, we did some amazing work in technology, in cloud telephony, something right now which is happening through, if this call is happening through Skype and then being published on YouTube, that cloud telephony part is working behind, basically, or video conferencing part is working behind. So this is the same technology we worked on in India, in overseas. We got to scale the company from nothing to 400 people company, which it is right now. We even tripled the revenue during those years. I became the product head of the company, and this is where I felt that all the struggle, it was paying off. Basically, everything that I had I've taught myself for 4 years. I didn't even pay a single penny to stay for books, for hostel, for nothing. That is something that something to you pay a lot on for the children to just give me a moment. Yeah. So kind of a present that you can give to your parents, and that was one of the best presents that I could give them. And during the college, feel directionless. I kept doing something. I was I was the chief editor of the college magazine, reading kind of books that maybe I was not in, the book that I should have been interested in were coding books, but then maybe that line did not interest me much. But then I got into technology. I got into with this healthcare company, healthcare tech company. It's a very big company. It's a New York-based company. They are into US healthcare tech market, and then I work there as a associate director for product management. Currently, I'm doing the work virtually, but then yes, I would love to go to Mumbai and see the office and start working from there. So this has been the whole journey, and and at the same time, I still want to be that entrepreneur somewhere down in me, that I want to make sure that while I'm working at the same, while I'm making sure that I'm providing my best to the company I'm working for, which I have always done. I keep learning something, and in the long term, which I have written in my MBA applications as well, that I have chosen a job title for me that is an entrepreneur. And I really want to make sure that I build something on my own, maybe a small thing, a small tech thing, a small, in any kind of direction, something profitable, so that that team can or have a small setup, a small team. That team can achieve things, amazing things in life. And I keep writing down my ideas. Perhaps one day I'll definitely get to one of those. Side by side, I keep discussing those ideas with my friends from college, and that's what my MBA college did to me. It not only gave me a couple of amazing new good friends, but then amazing people who really want to put their time and money into something building amazing, right? When coming back to the learnings, everything, and putting things in perspective, I believe there are a couple of things that I could have done differently, and those things that that you have with you, right? And you can put the use of internet to the extent that you can achieve anything in life. And this is what I believe. Technology is something empowers you so much that you can understand, even if you even if you want to build some, not only related to technology, but even if you want to start a business related to, let's say, bakery. Let's say if you want to start a business related to some organic farming, you can learn everything from internet. So make sure that you surf internet very efficiently. You can connect with people whom you look at and get inspired from. You can connect with them on Facebook, LinkedIn. Maybe there is a bucket of people that you look at, and then you feel that this is how I would like to be in future. And then from a student perspective, from an employee perspective, you can always reach out to people and then ask them, how did you do that? I want to be this person in my office, or in my next career jump. How did you do that? So people do approach me that how did you become a product manager? You were a business analyst, a domain consultant, but how did you make the jump to becoming a product manager? And so I tell them the whole perspective of things, and then I tell them how I managed, how I researched about the whole thing, that how I learned things from internet, and made sure that all the resources that I have available for me, how to put them in perspective. Persistence is one more thing. I believe when you want that, you do it. There are going to be times, because even whenever you are running a business, right? I'm taking an example of a business because that's something I do for my living. It could be joining army, basically, right? If you want to join army, maybe you have to, the kind of preparation which it requires, it might have some kind of mundane tasks that you won't like. It kind of have that kind of thing, or maybe tasks which you feel that is going to break you. But then don't feel that you want to quit right now for that boring task. Make sure you go ahead and see whether this is exactly which is giving you that kind of kick, and that's something that you would like to do for the rest of your life, right? And also another perspective is there is nothing as such wherein you want to do something for the rest of your life. Maybe you want to you want to be an army man today, and perhaps you want to do something else tomorrow. So during my MBA, the best part of MBA was I felt that I was too late in the race, but then I felt that it was not a race. It is something that this is just my walk. And I saw people coming from after retiring from army, people who have done MBBS and they are coming for doing their MBS, MBA, and people architects, doctors, retired Indian Air Force officers. So this cohort of people coming from different backgrounds actually puts things in perspective, and this is what I felt the best learning for me from MBA was understanding why people want to educate themselves more on something particular and how they put things in perspective. So talk to these people, try to reach out to them. Don't worry, things are not so. For me, when I was 28 when I entered into an MBA college. Don't worry that you are too late in the game. There are with me. There are people who were in their 40s, who were late 40s, with kids as young as studying in 8th standard. They left their jobs and were doing MBA over there, and that kind of mental strength. Perhaps I believe that personally I wouldn't have been able to make that kind of decision for me. So I believe whatever decision it is yours. So you can decide to learn coding today and become one of the best coders in next 5 years. So talk to yourself. Maybe you can take couple of things and then try doing those, but don't quit. Keep doing those for such a long time so that you become at least some kind of expert in that, right? So yeah, discipline yourself for something that you really feel eager to, and don't feel don't lose the hope. Hope is something hope is the best thing that you have. Do something, try it out, don't get bored of it, do it every day, and you will know whether this is for you or not. Yeah, something I would like to talk about, what you can do in case if you're a student, in case if you are an employee, you are a parent. Something which I did not get. I still long for a mentor. I try reaching out to people. It's difficult to get responses from. There are, I try to the founder of MentorMitr. We keep talking, we keep discussing ideas, and he's a mentor to me. We have been in touch for the last 8 or 9 years now. Somewhere around that. And we have maintained touch. He's one of the mentors. He guides me on certain aspects. There are other things that that I have my friends on, and there are some other aspects where I talk to my parents too. For maintaining discipline in my life, I go to my father, because he's from army background and he knows how to wake somebody up at 4 o'clock. So today, even if I feel that my alarm won't be able to wake me up, my father does that for me, right? So that's something that you have to decide what kind of package you have to build around for yourselves, what kind of people you have to talk to. And the idea is just try to be in touch with people, try to stay focused, try to try new things, stay happy, stay fit, and stay healthy. Make sure that you put some amount of time of your day in staying physically fit as well. Go for that run that you've been longing. Go to that gym that you have been delaying forever, or maybe do some yoga and get yourself get yourself back on feet. So yeah, so that's it from my end.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your journey with us. Keep in mind the insights that you shared with us today. We are extremely happy to have you on the panel with us today. Since a couple of questions have been posed by the participants, I would like to request Mr. Bhawani to take up 3 of them with us. So this is a question from Rimi. She asks, after my post-graduation, I want to go forward to my dream profession, which is a teacher. How can one prepare themselves to get that dedication? Let me know some informative strategies to go ahead.
Okay, so teacher is okay. There are different aspects to it. So understanding what kind of teacher you want to be, right? In which particular field, because you can become it. For in India, if you have to become a teacher, you need a Bachelor of Education, B.Ed. Basically, there are now companies. For example, the company I was working for, it helps people become teacher and get that kind of education background that is required by the Indian government, basically. So right now they are more focused on Dubai, Australia, and UK market, but they are launching their programs in India as well. But then, as of now, there are plenty of schools, where there is lack of teachers. Private schools I'm talking about. You can approach them. You can try reaching out to different schools in your area, in your town, or maybe outside that town, and reach out to them. In case if you have that knack, and in case if you have that quality of becoming a teacher, they'll definitely have you on board.
So the next question is from Jam. They're asking, is it okay if I change the decision for my career paths in breaks?
In breaks, as in, I did not get the question. But
I
then,
mean, I think what they're trying to portray is like breaks in between to decide what their next career path will be.
yeah, decision is all yours. For example, the thing is, whenever you're planning a transition of your career, there are couple of things that you need to keep in mind, because sometimes sudden switch of a career will put you in a lot of distress, right? Make sure that the transition is little smooth and you plan it out. You try it out. That, for example, in case if I want to switch from a certain kind of job to another job, or right, so I don't leave the job and then try to find another job, right? You want to make sure that while you are doing this current job, if you have a job right now, you empower yourself, you uplift yourself, you train yourself on those kind of skills parallelly. And for that, of course, you have to be disciplined, you have to put extra time to upskill yourself. And then when you feel that you are ready for that, there are platforms which can help you interview for that particular position, and then they'll tell you that, okay, fine, you are ready for this particular position, and then you can start applying. And that's when you start applying, and then you can write about it in your resume, write about it in other platforms, or maybe LinkedIn, and then try to make that switch. If you leave the job and then try to go ahead, then probably, I have met so many people, they feel so stressed up because they left the job, and they're looking out for a job, and they end up settling up for something which was not meant for them. So try to make sure that the transition is smooth. You plan it out. You talk to some mentor, you find a company like MentorMitr, and then probably they'll jot out the plan for you, how it is going to happen. Stay in touch with them, and then try talk to them, and then make the transition accordingly.
Okay. All right. So the last question: how does career counseling work during the pandemic?
Can you repeat that?
How does career counseling work during the pandemic?
Okay, that's so we all are trying to decode the pandemic right now. We all are trying to, even I'm decoding myself right now. So as of now, I believe this is one of the best times that you have for yourself, right? So even if you don't have the direction, you don't know. So there are people who know what they want to do in their life, so they are already on to the task, already upskilling themselves. So career counseling comes one step prior to that. So in case if you do not know, right? So this could be the best time for you to understand what could be the steps for you, or further steps for you to plan that next shift, plan that next career. So again, maybe talk to your family members, talk to other experts in the field, talk to a company which provides career counseling. Take a couple of maybe sample career counseling tests, and understand which field you are actually meant for. There are many things that we know about ourselves. There are many other things that we do not about ourselves. So while talking to other people, while we give this kind of technological tests and psychometric tests, you understand that there is something else that I'm really good at. So that's when you try to understand, okay, this is what I need to upskill myself on, and then you take the transition accordingly. So as a product manager, I am personally skilling myself on machine learning languages right now, machine learning platforms, machine learning models every day, deep learning, and all those things. So that's something I feel that is the next career path for me. I am a product manager, but a future product manager will be well skilled in AI and ML technologies. So that's what I'm doing for myself. And I try to at least give 1 hour every day this uh, uh, particular learning and particular upskilling of myself. So that's something we can do every day at least. At 1 hour, that's more than sufficient.
Thank you, Sophia. Thank you once again for joining us. It was a delight to have you on.
Thank you so much, Shreya. Thank you so much, team. Yeah, I will keep in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I would like to repeat the survey, the e-certificate, before moving on to the next speaker. Attend the full webinar. Once you see thank you displayed on the screen, there will appear a link to Google Attendance form in the chat box. Click to mark your attendance and get the feedback form emailed. Fill in the questionnaire that you receive for further details. Follow our page on Instagram and Facebook. If the above stated steps are followed, an e-certificate will automatically be mailed to you. Our next speaker for the evening is Mr. Anil Sharma. Mr. Anil Sharma is an engineer, MBA, and has 25 plus years of corporate experience in leadership positions. He strongly believes that life skills, emotional intelligence, not just IQ, and knowledge of self-management needs to be learned, which requires right mentorship and training. The earlier in life it is done, the smoother the journey towards a successful and happy career. Mr. Sharma, kindly proceed with the session.
Hi, thanks, Shreya, for the introduction. And if we could move the slides forward. Hi, everybody. I see people from Philippines, from other countries, all over the country. And I guess what I'm going to cover has largely been covered by BHAWANI with his own experience, how he thought. So who needs career counseling? It's kind of our audience, all our audience needs it. So I know that school students need, university students need, and working executive and professionals need. If we could move to the next slide, please. And why everybody needs counseling and why school students, for example, need counseling. I feel because their journey of career has not started and they're worried about what to do, whether they are headed in right direction, uncertainty due to unknown, because they don't know what they are up for. And they're planning big things, international schools, very expensive schools, very expensive education, and they don't know whether that's the right track. Also, I guess interacting with a lot of students that they don't have, there is an insecurity about what should they be doing. If they fail to do what they have set their goals at, what will happen? So there is lack of clarity, and also because in most parts of the world, there are more people to go to colleges, universities after school. There is an insecurity that there is more competition. There are tests. Somewhere it is a language becomes important. So all those things. And sometimes, you know, you may be overconfident that you have too many options. As a young student, you can do anything because you can do this or that. Those are impressions. And sometimes you are too pissed off that the options are very less. You don't know what else to do. Pressed for time because you are in midst of your preparation also, and a lot of things are happening. Your family is telling you some things, your friends are telling you something, school is telling something, and the coaching institute has another agenda. So you pressed for time to even think. And what happens is then your performance is not getting optimized, your confidence starts going low. And of course, as a young student, because of your exposure, I know students today have a lot of information, far more than I had as a student, but still, mind dwindles between this or that. Okay, and what else? Next slide, please, Priti. And what to counsel for? As a school student, what do you need to counsel for? One, get clarity on your goals and options. So even if you are overconfident, fully confident about goal, check it out. how will you check it out and know your options? Do you know all your options? How can you know those options? Well, you'll have to create a plan. Sometimes you are able to do that yourself, sometimes with the help of teachers and parents. But I would say the most professional way to do is to take specific help on how can you optimize your current, whether the goal which you take is long term going to be with you, two, the plan you make gets executed, and assess your cognitive abilities which you are born with, which are which determine your strengths and also weaknesses, what you call development areas. Learn to optimize the using it as a process, and then also understand it's not, because typically till school you're focused more on intellect, aptitude, marks, grades, all that. So what about the other part? How will you deal with failure? Because if you start preparing, then you get prepared for future and enhance your soft skills. Next slide, please. And university students, why university students need to counsel when they already counseled in school, for instance? So Bhavani told you that he chose a career. He wanted to appear for an exam. He did not pass that exam, but yes, he got a scholarship because of his performance in his province, in the country. And what that figured out was that, which meant that, okay, then some opportunities were created, and again after doing the job, he took a break, did some work in counseling, which was totally different from his skill area. So what happens is, by the time a lot of university students pass out or come toward their final years of undergraduation, they realize they already made a wrong choice by doing a particular course, or it will not be enough to further stops. They should be making far more money. They should get far higher position. Sometimes it is a wrong judgment. Sometimes you think too less for it, and you think that you're already getting a lot and you're stuck to a wrong place. Sometimes it is a dream which you developed as a youngster or as a student in school or college, and that's not realized, and that keeps you unhappy all the time, and you keep looking for opportunities to do more. So how do you kind of deal with that? That's a challenge sometimes. Ritik, could you move to the next slide, please? And who to counsel from? Somebody, some person of eminence or organization which is qualified. Using proven tests which are standard, global, and which really evaluate your potential properly, and do not assume things which you are assuming yourself. And school students, we recommend that they involve in the process their parents as stakeholders and take a third party counsel so that it gets rationalized. Update and upgrade your skills. Bhavani mentioned he's updating his skills on machine learning and all. And who not to take counsel from is any unsolicited, unqualified advice, whether it is a friend, relative, well-wisher, because they may be well-meaning, but they're not trained. They may not have done, may not have been in that situation. They think good of you. Is that advice to be taken just because somebody's best friend is giving you that advice? We recommend that take a qualified advice, follow a process, follow some tests, get a scientific assessment done. That's what I would recommend. I do it for myself. Even I work as a professional. I work for an organization at a senior level, and I still do it. So that's what I have to say. I'm not sure if there is any question. Else, I would say that if you have identified need for counseling, or even if you have not, just double check. Double check that you're not overwhelmed with yourself. Double check you are not overwhelmed with the situation you are in. That the decision you are about to take emotionally may not be the right one. So maybe pause, step back, rejig, take counsel, qualified counsel, and move forward. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure talking to you. Shreya, any questions?
Yes, sir. We have a few questions for you. So this is a question from Rimi. She's asked, can career counseling truly correspond to our passions and desires?
Sometimes what we think passion fades out if an adversity comes. Bhavani said, sometimes people leave a job for something and then they are struggling to find another job and they're not realizing their true worth. I've taken breaks and I've have had different experiences. So what I would say, check out whether your passion is actually in your development area or in your weakness area. So you may have a fantasy which you are thinking is a passion because you're doing something else. But if you are good at something and already achieving in that direction, and that's also your passion, maybe that's a natural choice. Still, it's good to vet it scientifically. And there are tests available.
So the next question is, how much does networking affect career prospects?
So it depends. How do you network? What is the quality of network you have? So imagine, for example, you want to go to Harvard. I'm just taking an example. Don't think that is what I'm suggesting. So imagine you have to go to Harvard as your next goal and you're very clear and that is the direction you're making your resume like that. And who should you network with? At that time, you should network with people who are also either trying that seriously, like you are trying, or who has been to Harvard, been there, done that. So those networks will help you achieve your goals. But at that time, if you are gossiping with your best friends on social media, networking, asking them for reference for that is good. But taking their counsel and they've never done that could be a bad networking.
Right.
Yeah.
The last question is from Ses. He's asking, how do you know if you're on the right career path?
So that's precisely I mentioned in these slides. So what happens? Sometimes I'll just give an example and then you can relate. So imagine you are a footballer. You played for your school. You went to your province. You went to the national team. And you are growing very, very fast because you are scoring goals. Football is your passion and you're achieving results in that area and you're growing and you're moving towards goal to play your country, for example. And you're already traveled some distance. Well, that's an indication. But if you are not so sure about your studies exactly like that, that is the time you should counsel somebody. You should counsel, take tests, and know what your real development areas are, or whether you are operating in area of weakness, thinking that's your goal, or area of your strength, thinking that's your goal. An objective test and counsel could help you determine that. Does that help?
Thank you, sir, for the insights and experience you've shared with us today. Thank you all for joining us for the session. Before wrapping up, I would like to rebrief the steps to avail the e-certificate. At a webinar, once you see thank you displayed on the screen, there will be a link given to Google attendance form in the chat box. Click to mark your attendance and get the feedback form emailed. Fill the questionnaire that you receive on your mail for further details. Follow our page on Instagram and Facebook. If the above stated steps are followed, an e-certificate will automatically be mailed to you. You can contact us through any of the above mentioned platforms with your questions, feedbacks, and suggestions. A huge thank you to our speakers and to all the participants once again for joining us. See you all next Sunday.